18th of May, Rabbi Furst, Ruth.
Thank you. Good morning again. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here, Yeshivat Samanafshi, here in Yerushalayim Kerem Zoom. This is our first year this morning. We're learning Megillus Ruth. We're in the third parak. I believe we are at the 10th pasuk, if I'm not mistaken. This is getting close to the crescendo, the culmination of the story of Ruth. She's about now having done her years, and she's not going to be completely initiated into the fold of Klal Yisrael, and therefore helping along the Malchus Beis David, the dynasty of Mashiach Tzidkenu. Okay, yes. Who would like to read today? Any volunteers?
I think I read yesterday.
That's right. Yes. So if anyone else would like to,
Go ahead, Barry. I have to step out for a minute. So
okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay. If you want to take over when you get back, let me know. Vayomer Barucha at LaHashem Bita Heitavt Hazdech Ba'acharon Min Harishon Levilti Lechet Achrei Habechorim Ve'im Dal Ve'im Aser. And he said, you should be blessed by Hashem, my daughter. Your latest act of kindness is greater than the first, not to follow the young men, whether rich or poor.
right.
So he calls her my daughter. Yeah. So,
Right. So,
very interesting.
what's your comment on this?
No, it's a way of. I once read an explanation that that many of the Rebbeim who have contact with young women and young girls or young wives, when they meet with them, sometimes in private, they have a custom of using that expression as a way of setting up the relationship. In other words, it neutralizes any possibility of familiarity.
Right. Yes, very wise. Very wise.
It's a very wise method, because you know, a lot of Rebbeim, you know, like in seminaries, etc., they some of the male Rebbeim have contact with young ladies, so they have to be very careful.
That's right.
Yeah, there was one. Yeah, there was one. Not a few years ago, I think it was in a seminary in Israel. There was one teacher who just gave into his ibis, whatever, and he was getting too familiar with the girls.
That's an old problem. Nothing new about that. Right. So I think we mentioned yesterday the Medrash, right? That Boaz was at the time 80 years old, and Ruth was at the time 40 years old, right?
Yeah.
And you see that because of her, she got a bracha from Boaz. That was and even though she hadn't had children for 10 years, she hadn't had children at all, and she was able to have children through the blessing, the koyach of the blessing that Boaz gave her. Right?
Yes.
well worth getting those blessings. Okay, let's continue on. Let's see the next pasuk.
Okay. Yud Aleph. Va'ata biti, and now my daughter, al tiri kol asher tomri yodea kol sha'ar ami ki eshes chayil at. And now, my daughter, don't be afraid. All that you say, I will do for you. For the entire gate of my people know that you are a righteous woman.
Yeah, what's that supposed to mean, that she's an Ashes Chayil? What's that supposed to mean?
Well, she's very noble. She has all the midos.
Yeah.
You know, she's sneus, and she's caring, and you know, all everything that we sing Shabbos night. Ashes Chayil.
Right.
What's the word ashes mean? Does it mean woman or wife? Connotation of wife or connotation of any woman, married or not?
I think in this context it means a woman in general, generic. If I'm not mistaken.
So it can vary. So on Shabbos, Erev Shabbos, it means your wife.
Yeah.
Refers to you as your wife. But yeah, all right.
It's also interesting to me that he says kol sha'ar ami ki yodea kol sha'ar ami, that it's known in the entire gate of my people that they know that you're Ashes Chayil. So it seems that he's speaking in terms of a community leader, my
Yeah.
people, you know, like he's, and apparently at the gate, isn't that a reference to the conversion, that the Bezdin would meet at the gate of the city?
Could be. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it has to necessarily be at the gate of the city.
I mean, there was in the towns, there was a meeting place for the Bezdin, like a permanent meeting place. So
Right.
so apparently he's making some kind of reference.
It says here in this translation, for all the men in the gate of my people know that you are a
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What's like that? Yeah, but what's that supposed to mean exactly? Why not for a reference to the gate? Kol Shami. Let's see here. Why do we have to make mention of the gate?
Yeah.
This is where the decisions are made, where the policy is made.
Right. So
I've got-
that would yeah. You're there, Kol Shar, you're there, Das Udin. They know the laws. They know all the laws. Right.
I've got here, Boaz said, my intentions are compatible with yours, but don't worry. Even though you think that the wise men at the gate will try to dissuade me, saying it is below my dignity to marry a Moabite girl. Have no fear. The people at the gate know you are a worthy woman. That's from the Melbourne.
Uh-huh. Right. Just also said, they say clearly, right, the Sanhedrin, some of them unfortunately say clearly this is a reference to the Sanhedrin. Very good. Chachamim.
Also, it says here, the Igeras Shammul offers a different interpretation of these verses. Do not fear, my daughter, I want to marry you. Do not fear, my daughter. That's in, yeah, okay. I want to marry you, and things will probably work out. I will be the one to do whatever you say. Only I and the people of my gate, that is the Sanhedrin, are aware that you are a female, that as a female Moabite, you are now permitted to me. Everyone else thinks you are still prohibited.
Oh, this is
The other-
this is the Malbim you're reading from, yeah?
No, that's Igeras Shmuel.
The Gerishmo, very good. That's very significant. Very, very significant. The Gerishmo, very good.
You know, it almost seems like the whole Megillus Rus is in outline form.
Yeah.
You know, where a lot of details are left out. It's just in an outline form that you have to fill in. It's like, you know, when you have a lot of details and you just need an outline to remind you.
Right.
Like if you're giving a speech, you know, and you're not going to write out every word of the speech.
Right.
So you make an outline to refer to, and it jogs your memory of the details. Because there's so much, all these commentaries are filling in things that happen behind the scenes that we don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We don't always get everything from the psukim themselves. Yeah, definitely not.
We never do.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we have to rely on the Chachamim to help us understand.
That is right.
Because we can't never understand just reading it straight through.
Going on what you've just said, it further says here, the other, referring to Tov, the other Redeemer definitely does not know the law, and he will demur. But in the event he does decide to redeem you, then it is for the best. I promise you, however, that if he does not accept the responsibility of redeeming you with a good heart, I myself will redeem you. So they know the law, they know she's okay, that she's worthy to be his wife.
Very nice. That's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I still don't understand the halacha that why she has to be redeemed. Aren't the relatives obligated to redeem the land so that their relative doesn't fall into poverty? I mean, that's basically the idea of the halacha, right? It has nothing to do with marrying a ge'eris who was already married 2 times already before. Right? I mean, there's no, I don't understand the connection between, okay, we have to redeem the land and give it to Naomi, you know, back to the family, because that's our obligation. But what's that have to do with this nice ge'eris who showed up?
All right. The heiress, she's really, I mean, because at the time she was not Jewish at the time, meaning there's no real marriage at the time, and and even Naomi, there's no obligation for Naomi. She doesn't get any land. She gets whatever she gets from the Kasuba, but that's it. Right? There's no land involved with Naomi either.
So what does this redemption entail? Boaz is referring to redeeming the land. He says this other relative should redeem the land. that means that the relative buys the land for himself, but but the redemption is that it stays in the family?
Well, that's still, that's not clear yet. That's not really clear yet. I haven't come to a clear, I haven't gotten a real, let's see, we didn't really come to let's hold on. We have to see what, let's see the pasuk yud base. We just did yud aleph, yud base, viata.
V'ata ki amnam ki im goel anochi v'gam yesh goel korov mimeni. And now I am a near, I am a family member,
Yeah.
but there is a family member closer than me.
So
So therefore, we have to give him first opportunity.
well, yeah, the question is, so we have to understand now, what's this whole, now we can explore this whole point about what's this concept of the gula. What is this?
I've got here a written note.
Yeah,
Boaz is actually saying that he believes Ruth to be the Gilgal of Lot's daughter.
of Lot's daughter. Of Lot's daughter.
Lot's daughter, yeah.
Yeah.
For only she would have approached me without a marriage broker. But she is more than just a descendant of Lot's daughter. Who would not have held back. She's more than what Lot was. Lot's daughter was. In other words, Lot's daughter would not have held back in Ruth's position.
Okay.
I have a comment that says, since the closer relative had to be given the option of redeeming Machlon's field.
Oh,
So apparently the field was owned by Machlon,
right,
according to this comment.
right.
Because he was the last surviving, right? The father died, and then the other son died, and Machlon, the surviving one, inherited everything. And then he died.
Right.
But at the time of Machlon's death, he was the owner.
Right.
Right? Is that what the halacha would be?
Well, that's the question. You have to find the source of this halacha.
When Elimelech died, so the two sons would be his inheritors, right? And then when the other son died, Machlon wound up as, so to speak, the sole survivor.
Right.
So he had title to the land at the time of his death. No, I mean,
Yeah. So, and the question is, how did he get to be in the land?
because he was inheriting his father and his brother.
Right. So by means of inheritance, he inherited the land.
Right.
So why does it have to be? Why does it have to be gold? Just let it be where it is. Let everything be the way it is. There's no reason to mix in now.
Well, somebody took over the land.
Where does Tov come into it then?
Yeah.
Well, he's the next relative in line. Because he says there's a relative closer than me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's a
see, at this point, we have to go a little bit further in our understanding of things, that there are other things going on here besides behind the scenes in terms of the spiritual ramifications of all these relationships. That,
Hmm.
uh, just want to
Well,
see the
someone outside of the family apparently at this time owned that land
right.
because Tove was expected to redeem it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
I mean,
who owned
That's okay.
somehow somebody took title to the land. Maybe they didn't pay their taxes. I don't know what, but Elimelech's land was at this time in the hands of a stranger. Isn't that what the pasuk is saying?
um, yeah, but thing is, there's a lot going on beyond what the pasuk exactly says here.
Well, let's say just like in many other instances, there's stuff going on that we're not told. So it could be very simply that at some point Boaz sold the land. He decided he wasn't coming back, which caused his death, and he figured I'll just cash in and have some money to live on here in Moab. So we don't know, but I mean it's a probable scenario that Elimelech sold the land. The father sold the land. Naomi's husband sold the land, and it was now in possession of someone else. Situation where I think the halach is very clear that I think isn't it in this week's parsha that if someone has serious financial setbacks and he has to sell his land.
Right.
Now he's landless, right? He doesn't have an income now. So that's the situation in the Torah. I think that you're supposed to redeem that land and give it back to the person who lost it, your relative.
Right, but there was no sale of land here.
Why not?
We weren't told.
No, I mean there had to be a sale of land because Tove has to redeem the land. Someone else owned the land. It wasn't like if someone has a house in New Jersey in America and he goes away, the mortgage is paid and he goes away for 20 years. The whole time he's away, that's his house. No one can come and take his house over just because he's out of town.
Right.
The house could have been sold, or it could have been given as the house, or it could have been, the land could have been sold, or could have been given as a present also.
Yeah, so somebody,
We don't
some
know.
person behind the scenes, we don't know who he is, but somebody owned that land which Tove or Boaz had to pay for and redeem.
But if it was somebody,
They weren't paying themselves.
yeah,
Well, don't forget, Elimelech was a rich man. He didn't have debts. Right?
That for a while, but when he went to Moab and he left his land alone, what was his income? Yeah, let's say he took gold with him or something, but he probably used it up. He had to cash his land in. I mean, we don't know, but I'm saying that that's a likely scenario, that at some point the land was transferred. somebody has to own that land. My question is, who owned the land that Tov was obligated to redeem from? He had to redeem the land from a human being who had possession of that land.
But that person might well have been someone in the family. Could it be that we didn't know about?
Well, if it was in the
Because
family,
it-
then it would be, it wouldn't need to be redeemed.
No, well, it might be being redeemed might mean transferred. That Boaz would want to transfer it to him, to her.
No, to this woman.
Hmm.
I mean, normally, I mean, Naomi doesn't inherit the land. She's out of the picture as far as the redemption of the land is concerned. So behind, somewhere behind the scenes, someone is holding this land. Somebody made a deal somewhere along the line in the last 20 years that took possession of the land. He was farming the land. It was part of his property. It was part of his parnasa. And now Boaz or Tov are obligated to go to this owner of the land and redeem it.
Hmm.
No, I mean, isn't that I mean, it just logically has to be that somebody out of the family had possession of the land, because that's why they call it redemption.
All right. Well, we don't know the answer, do we?
No, we don't. No, I'm just saying,
That's a good, yes.
we
Right,
don't
that's
know, but the evidence that it has to be redeemed by a family member means that it's not in the possession at that time of a family member.
Well, we probably just have to accept that. Full stop.
I mean,
Unless we have a midrash about it, or someone in authority have said something about it that we haven't come across yet. We just have to accept it as that, full stop, and that's it, and go on.
right. Right.
A minute.
And it's, it's interesting that that in the Megillah, it doesn't say that the owner of the land was called to the Besdin and said, look, you own this land, but now Boaz is going to do his family duty and buy it from you. None of that is reported to us.
Right.
Like it is when Avram buys the Maor HaMachpelah. You get a whole long meeting there, whole long legal information, legal report, down to how much it costs.
All right. Let's go further. We'll have to see if we get any more closer to understanding this. Let's see the next pasuk.
Would it be in this?
What is that? What I don't see the. Could be. I mean, it's possible. I mean, after. Because
I'll have a look later on. I'll have a look
Yeah.
later on.
the Medrash will
Okay.
definitely tell us things we don't know from the psukim. That's for sure. Okay.
So Boaz says, Lini halayla v'haya baboker im yigaolech tov yigal v'im lo yachpots l'goolech ugaltich anochi chai Hashem Shichvi ad aboker. So he says, Lini baboker, stay overnight, and in the morning he will redeem you. And good, let him redeem you. But if he does not redeem you, I will redeem you as the Lord lives. Lie down until morning. Okay, so I still don't understand what's this redemption of Ruth? Is this like the Levirate marriage? They're obligated because the only way he would, in other words, halachically, my question I'm trying to find out is what halacha said that they have to redeem her.
Right.
We're talking about redeeming her. I thought it was the land. So I don't understand what is the. No, I'm not got a moral obligation. I'm talking about what is the halacha that impels them to redeem Ruth. She wasn't legally married to the brothers. And then she comes to Israel with her poor mother-in-law, and she converts. She's a very wonderful lady. Good. She's a good lady. Wonderful. So why do they have to redeem her?
Part of Machlon's neshama resided in Ruth as his widow and is awaiting peace through Ruth's marriage. This is so for all widows or widowers.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the only time they would have any kind of sheikhis to her would be if it was, what do you call it? The dies childless. The closest relative, a brother or something, is supposed to marry her. Right?
This marriage has Kabbalistic overtones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
See that's going to be the ultimate answer in with most of these questions. That there's a level of understanding that you have to accept here, which is beyond the Pashut Shat, right? That basically, if we're learning Pashut Shat, that Ruth at the time of her marriage was not converted, so there was no legal Jewish marriage at the time. Nevertheless, in spite of the fact that there was no legal Jewish marriage, in fact, if they were married, there was a relationship there, and he was a Jewish man, and he in fact died without children. So there is a possibility that his neshama, his soul, whatever, is still connected with his even his non-Jewish wife, right? That we in terms of halacha, so we understand that there's no real marriage there, but in terms of more spiritual understandings, there you can't deny the relationship, right? That there was a relationship between the two of them. So
okay. So we have to fall back on some kind of Kabbalah.
yeah, that's going to be the real ultimate answer to a lot of these questions. Just Just interested to know, 1 second. Um, that, just now, again, Ruth was married to Machlon, right?
Mhm.
Um, now, what's this expression tov? This expression tov over here, goel tov. How do we understand that? What's that supposed to mean?
I've got, what did I just had here? Something about Tov.
It says here, the Midrash states it's Salmon, Tov, and Elimelech were brothers. Many commentators, the Al-Shikbak, Rav, Arama, Malbim, maintain therefore that the word Tov is the name of the closer redeemer, the Poloni Ammoni, referred to later.
I have something here. I've just glanced at it. It seemed to equate Tov with Hashem.
Yeah, I have a comment like that. It says, tarry this night is in the world, which is all night. And it shall be in the morning, if the good one will redeem thee, he will redeem thee. It shall be in the morning refers to the world which is all good. If the good one will redeem thee, the good one is the Holy One, blessed be he. As it is stated, the Lord is good to all. If he will not redeem thee, then I will redeem thee. As the Lord liveth, lie here until morning.
Right, that's what I've got here too. Have you got the same sefer as me or a similar one?
No, I have similar. It's
Yeah.
Midrash Rabbah, Ruth.
Yeah, okay, so I've got that as well, but a different edition. So it's very similar to what you said. Yeah, that's what I just saw. Yeah, right.
So that's more like you were saying, the the not the simple, but the more deep symbolic meaning.
Right. So if you want to go into some symbolic understanding of what's going on here. So machlon, right? Machlon, it's the same gematria. If you have a Chumash Bereshis nearby. If you have a Chumash Bereshis nearby.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I have one.
Me too.
Okay. So what are we looking up?
Look in Perek Beis.
Yeah.
Pasuk Yud Ches.
You're, okay.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
It's not good to be alone. That man should be alone.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Hashem, God said, it is not good that man be alone. I will make him a helper against him. And Hashem, God formed out of the ground every beast of the field and every bird of the sky and brought them to the man to see what he would call each one. And whatever the man would call to a living soul, so its name. And the man assigned names to all the cattle and the birds of the sky and every beast of the field. But as for man, he did not find a helper against him.
Right. So if you look at that pasuk Yud Ches again, V'yomer Hashem Elokim Lo Tov, so the gematria of Machloin is the same gematria of the words, the three words Elokim Lo Tov.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And who was, what was the name? What was the name of the Goyel?
Tov.
Oh. Right. So that's just something you can think about.
It doesn't seem that there's any way to have a consistent thread all through, because so far we've had about 5 different opinions of when Ruth was Megayer. Even that, all the way from in Moab to 10 minutes before she married Boaz. So there's really no way to, so to speak, pin it down.
Mhm. Right.
I mean, if we take the story of Ruth as a mushal, so okay, you can have different opinions, but if the story of Ruth is an actual historical fact, then there is an absolute time when she was Megayer. That we're supposed to learn from. Okay, so you can have 5 different opinions when she was Megayer, and we learned 5 different things from their opinions.
You know, it just
Okay.
occurred to me that maybe it's not clear when she was Megayer because there are different opinions as to what is halachically required for her to convert. Maybe she converted according to some opinions at one time, and according to other opinions, the conversion wasn't complete until another time.
Well, again, it pivots the whole question. It pivots that regardless of when she was converted, but in terms of marriage, she wasn't allowed to be married until the time when Boaz and his Sanhedrin decided the halacha that she was permissible.
But could it be that retroactively she was therefore married earlier?
No, that's a very difficult approach to say retroactively she would be considered to be married and all those things retroactively. A very difficult approach.
Well, let's say that she converted according to some opinions before she married Machlon. And now Boaz in the court says, well, the halacha is that she is allowed to convert. So therefore, at that time, she was legitimately Jewish.
Yeah, but if she was converted at that time, as you say, that wasn't known. They would not have been, they wouldn't have done that. So she could, whoever was in charge of conversions would have said, as far as we know, she can't convert. It was only until later that it became known that it was permissible. So it,
Yeah.
right? No, I mean, that's,
Right, right. These are the difficulties involved. I mean, I tell you, look, she could have converted. Let's put it this way: she could have converted, meaning you can convert someone from Moab, but they can't come. But they can't come in. They can't marry, right? That's the whole point. They can't marry. Okay. Anyway, well, we'll have to continue on tomorrow.
so we're going to continue with Yudalid.
Yes, I believe so.
Thank
Yudalid.
you, Rabbi.
Okay, very good. Roy, have a good afternoon.
Okay, Roy.
You too, be well.
We'll start the Mishnah Berurah here in a few moments.
Bye.